Thank you. It is being recorded audio only, and those recordings are available at our website, secularrecoverygroup.org, and our YouTube channel. I can place that info in the chat later on. Okay, so today I've asked someone I know from one of my other groups that I attend regularly, someone who came, or I first saw, I think under a year ago is when I first saw him. And I'm just impressed with his story and his growth over the months that I've known him. So anyway, without further ado, I'd like to introduce Teun.
Thanks, Bridget. Hey, everyone. My name is Teun. I'm a person in recovery. Thanks for the meeting. Thanks to everyone doing service, which would be Courtney, Bob, and Bridget. Thank you. Yeah, I'll jump right in. I usually just open my mouth and the right stuff comes out, I guess. I'll start at the beginning. I was an incubator baby. I was born 8 weeks too early, and looking back at pictures of myself, I seem to be a pretty happy baby, or a young child at least. But then I remember my elementary school and high school period. I was always stuck in my own world, my own head a bit. I didn't really fit in with my peers, kids my age. I didn't know if that was, I don't know, I just felt different, right? And I think I was just scared to connect to people. Like whenever I did hang out with kids, it was my sister or this one friend I knew from kindergarten. And a bit of bullying also went on. I was always just a sensitive kid. I especially didn't mesh with any of the boys in my class, like all this I don't know, this typical macho bullshit. It wasn't for me. I was a pretty sensitive boy, and I always felt I felt out of place. And I think somewhere along the line, I internalized that to, there must be something wrong with me, right? I'm not enough as I am. That continued into high school, and I was always the quiet kid and afraid to express myself. I didn't know who I was, what I felt. Emotions, tricky shit that was. And then I met a group of friends I hung with for a pretty long time. I met them through my sister, and that's also when I got introduced to alcohol. I think I was around 16 or 17. Also discovered marijuana at the same time. And I found that when I drank, I wasn't afraid of people anymore, not afraid to speak up. And instead of being this scared, overstimulated kid, I kind of became a stimulus myself. I learned that if I acted like a positive clown around people, that really went well. That's when I got to connect. And I smoked marijuana to calm that tornado brain of mine. And so I guess I kind of use alcohol to open up a bit, to come out of my shell a bit. And I think it's kind of even between alcohol and marijuana. I don't know if there's one drug of choice there. I think both. Whenever I drank, I craved the marijuana more. And it was never a problem until it did become a problem. Like I put an end to an 8-year relationship last year with my ex, and I met her when I was 22. She was 19 at the time, and we both had our baggage, backpack of issues. She had social anxiety disorder. I struggled with depression a lot. Uh, I remember when I was 14, and that came back to me when I celebrated my 1 year milestone last Tuesday. I'm pretty proud of that one, by the way. I felt that one. I remember that when I was 14, around that age, I got an email from a classmate saying like, why aren't you putting any work into this school assignment? And I sent an email back like, I don't even know if I want to continue with this life, with the living thing. So fuck the school assignment, right? And my mom happened to read that email. And she begged me to go find help. So that's around that age, I got in contact with a social worker and therapy, and all that kicked off. So I have a pretty long history of that. Just the mental health issues, depression, not knowing who I was, what's my place in this world, and using substances to cope with that. And in this relationship with my ex, I think we grew codependent pretty fast, because I was the one who introduced her to my friends, because she had social anxiety. That wasn't something that was easy for her to do, like socializing. And I guess in exchange, she put up with my my smoking marijuana and drinking like an idiot sometimes, right? So and I went through a lot of therapy through the years. I got the label the ADHD. I'm not too big a fan of labels. I think I might have ADHD, but it might also be whenever I get insecure, I start acting like a clown and be very active instead of telling people like I'm scared of y'all. I think I might have just drank away my social anxiety. I'm not sure. So yeah, plenty of labels through the years, and some weird antics as well. I could never really handle my booze well. I never knew where to draw the line. Like I drank pretty fast as well. Doesn't matter if it was beer or Coke or water. I just downed that shit pretty quickly. So I usually cross my healthy booze boundary. I always cross that way. How do I say this? Language barrier. Whenever I discovered I drank too much, it was too late. So I remember friends finding me blacked out on the toilet of bars and stuff like that. I could never hold my booze that well. Anyway, so I've been pretty depressed over the years, and I always felt I wasn't good enough the way I am, and I guess kind of my rock bottom was near the let's see, at the end of 2020, I quit my job after 3 years of being way too loyal towards that employer, and basically spending 2 to 3 years in a job I hated, software development. How I ever had a job sitting behind a screen for 8 hours a day is beyond me. But whenever the cleaning guy came around, I talked to him for 30 minutes straight, right? I wanted contact with people. And anyway, I quit that job. And then the 15th of March, 2021, the day before that, I had a big fight with my ex. Ended up blaming her for all the crap in my life, punched a hole in my door, in the living room door. It's still there to remind me of how good an idea it was to get sober. And the next morning, I saw that hole in the door, and I was like, yeah, I might have some part in this troubled life I'm having. And I called my buddy who got assigned to me in my treatment program for depression. That treatment ended this year as well. And he invited me to a Cocaine Anonymous meeting. And that really was the start of me. I think I realized then, like, alcohol and marijuana cannot be a part of my life anymore. Just can't. Like, the struggle with depression, I can't see it. Um, the substances aren't gonna, I'm not gonna be able to deal with my crap until I quit drinking and quit smoking. And so I did, and I never left the meeting since. A few months after that, so I put it. We ended that relationship. It was a good decision as well, because it allowed me to take time for myself and my process and my path. And I also feel really lucky to have quit smoking a year before I got sober. And a few years before that, my GP told me, like, if you're gonna go keep going down this path, you're not gonna make it to 40. So I learned how to cook because my ex despised cooking. I learned that working out, doing boot camps and weight training and all that stuff is pretty good for me as well. So I'm really happy I learned that before I got sober. If I had to learn all that shit when I got sober, that would have been a tricky lifestyle change. But so in a few steps, my life got healthier. But I do remember that as a kid who was like, I always felt I wasn't good enough. There was something wrong with me. And like, I never lived my life the way I wanted to. Like, I never followed my gut feeling. And then the first thing I heard when I got into the rooms is, you need to give over your will to a higher power, and you have character defects. That kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Understatement. So I took to Google and found a secular recovery group. That is still kind of my virtual home group. Well, not kind of, it just is. And I found that having secular recovery in my life helps me to deal with traditional meetings as well. And recovery gave me new purpose, new friends. I'm meeting people now who want to be with me because of me, and not because of how much booze is in my system. Or the fact that I have a car we can drive to the coffee shop to get weed, right? It's a more honest relationship. Service is also a big part of my recovery. I started a Code Young People face-to-face meeting 6 months ago, and it's amazing to see like 17-year-olds wanting to get sober. That's really amazing. And all these things, I'm just really grateful. I'm just really grateful. This 1 year, it really moved me to go from a 14-year-old who didn't want to live anymore to someone, for the first time in my life, I think I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be all right. And yeah, that's amazing to me. And all I had to do, well, all I had to do, I had to get sober, and I had years of therapy, of course, but I think the getting sober part is one of the most important things for my path. And I'm at a point where I don't want to drink anymore. I don't want to smoke anymore. What's the fucking use in numbing all those emotions down? I mean, I'm even this week there are some tough moments, but I reached out to a friend earlier today, and that light me up. Friends in fellowship, people who get what you're going through. There's always someone in the rooms who has experience with, or a similar experience to yours. And yeah, I'm now at the point where I need to find a job. I want to find a job, but also kind of need to find a job. The government is kind of pressuring me into that. And I really, really want to have a job I want to use my experience to help young people with addiction or with depression, whatever. And I'm not sure how that's going to go, but the one day at a time thing is important for that, I guess. Not to have my head in the future too much, not to worry about that too much. And if I do get to worrying too much, I have some lovely friends who tell me to get my head out of my ass, or to, I can just reach out to people, right? And that's I had to pick a higher power gun to my head, it would be connection. Connection to people who appreciate me for me. And yeah, I'm giving myself a chance nowadays. I'm trying stuff. I asked a girl out for the first time in my life last week and I got rejected, but still, I tried. And that's something I wouldn't even dreamt of having done a year ago. So I'm just really grateful today for being sober. And yeah, I guess that's my story. I'll probably think of 10 million things I forgot to tell 5 minutes after I finish, but I'll leave it at that. Thanks for having me, folks. Thanks, Bridget, for inviting me. And thanks for the meeting once again.
Thank you, Teun. It's always